Good evening and welcome to another live stream, live from beautiful Abruzzo. My name's David Benton, for those of you who don't know, and together with my wife, and my life, for the last 20 years, we've been helping people buy, restore, and move to this incredible place in Abruzzo. So tonight, we are talking exactly about that. Abruzzo and this amazing place. And you may be pleased to know, well, I'm actually quite pleased to know that I'm actually on my own tonight. So I can press these buttons as many times as I like because our producer Tony is not here. He's on holiday. So it's simply time to get professional. I mean, that's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, finally, we're going to have a professional evening session. And even Domenico's not here. Can you believe that? They've just abandoned ship. They're both on holiday. Unbelievable. So left me here all on my own. But there you go. It's going to be a great one because tonight, as I said, we're going to be talking about my favorite subject, which is this incredible place, Abruzzo. A little bit of a different format to the usual because I'm going to be showing you a few places. I'm going to be tearing up the region almost and putting it into bite-sized pieces for you to understand where I think you should go if you're coming over and you want to start looking at properties or looking at areas. And then we're going to finish off with what I think are the most important places to visit when you come. So this live stream is also going to be good for people that's already bought, and maybe I'm going to give you a few tips of places that you might not have been yet. So we're going to do a little bit of everything in tonight's show. There's going to be a lot of quite a number of photographs, a lot of map work. I do apologize if I can't put everybody's questions on because I'm on my own. So this software means that I have to sort of look at the questions and then put them on. I've just seen this one now. I've not even read it and decided to put it on. So I may not get all of your questions tonight, but I will do my best. How quickly do these homes sell? Do I need to be over in Italy to actually snatch one of these gems? They do go pretty quickly, the properties at the moment. I mean, obviously, we're not talking about that tonight because we'll save that for Q&A's session, but the market is on fire at the moment, I've got to admit. Best thing to do is get onto Patreon, and I'm going to talk about that in a second as well. Dave, can you talk more in your videos about the actual temperature and humidity? You often say it's hot, but how hot is hot? Well, it is hot now. These are all questions that we will cover on a Q&A. I would say hot for me is anything between 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. Humidity is usually pretty low in Abruzzo, so it's not, we don't really suffer from a massive humidity thing, but it is quite hot at the moment, and I think the whole of Europe is going through a little bit of a hot stage. But there you go. I say save those questions for how can we get all these questions now when it's not a Q&A? We have to save all the questions for the Q&A. We'll make sure we do that today. I suppose it is a little bit of an Abruzzo subject, the weather, but we're going to be talking mainly about the areas and that kind of thing tonight. But it is hot, definitely. But for me, when I say on a video hot, I'm saying between 30 and 35 degrees Celsius, which it's pretty much been hanging around that for the last couple of weeks, and it's going to carry on being that a little bit as we go on. So as I say, I can see people still putting questions up. If you could save the questions, John, things like that, you can either send it to me by email, and I'll look for the next Q&A session, and we'll do that. But let's talk about tonight. We are going to talk about Abruzzo. So I said I am on my own today. So there's going to be unfortunately, there's going to be no Domenico and Tony's tongue-twisting trials. So we're going to have to save all of that for the next session, which is not going to be next week. It's going to be the week after because it's Silvana, my wife's birthday, next week. So we're off for a few days, but we're going to have a great session the week after next. And Tony and Domenico are going to be back as well. In fact, hang on a second. I think he's actually logging in. Shall we say hello to Tony, or should I just leave him on there? He's on his holidays. And you should see the state of what he's got on. Tony, can you hear me? Nod your head if you can. I can't believe he's on his holiday and he's just come in just to basically annoy me. Hold on. Let me see how I get him on. Let's see. Hold on. Unbelievable.
Hey, how you doing? Without me. Hey?
It's going extremely well. In fact, people are commenting saying how professional it is this tonight. Tell everybody where you are, Tone.
Well, can you see the one of the most famous landmarks, I suppose, behind me?
Oh yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. So tell everybody where you are.
I am actually in Vieste,
Well, there
in
you
Puglia.
go. There you
the
go.
Gargano.
So you've changed. You've abandoned Abruzzo and gone to Puglia.
Yes,
Unbelievable.
but it's well worth it.
Is your better half with you?
She is. She's sat on the bench.
How is she?
Out the way. Yeah. She didn't want to get involved.
How's it going? Are you having a good holiday?
We're having a great holiday. Yes. It's hot, but it's good.
Are you off out for something to eat?
Yeah, we're going to go to that Sapori al Mare.
Have you there she is. It's Tony's better half. It's Mila. Oh well, thanks anyway for abandoning us. Thanks for just like abandoning us, and you know all the rest of it. You enjoy yourself. I'll just sit here in the office.
We've got another week yet.
I know. So I know you'll be back for. Oh no, I'm not doing one next week because it's Silvana's birthday next week, so we're away. Yeah. So well, everybody's gonna have to wait. Everybody's gonna have to wait another 2 weeks just to see you again. What a shame.
Yeah, I'm in Padre Pio country next week.
Oh well, there you go. Say a prayer for me.
I will. I will.
Okay, matey. Have a good holiday.
See you guys.
We'll see you soon. Somebody's written Tony in his cabana wear. You do. You look like some. Have you seen that film Scarface? You look.
Yeah.
You do. Have you got a white hat? You need a white hat and white trousers. And pink socks.
It's a sports cap, which I left at home.
Okay, matey. Have a good one.
Right, though. Thanks, boy. Talk to you next week.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Bye. There you go. You can't resist, can he? He cannot resist that to come on and say hello to everybody. Let me kick him off now, so he's gone. There he is. He's gone. So yeah, so we're on our own this evening. So I will look out for your questions. As that Jeffrey said, Tony Two Shirts. That is a great name. Nice one, Jeffrey. That can be this week's joke of the week. I have actually had a few people sending jokes in, but I'm going to say them for next week. It's not fun saying a joke to yourself, but that is fantastic, Jeffrey. So I'm going to give you that for this week. Definitely. Okay, so a couple of notices just to go through before we start talking about Abruzzo. So next week, as I've mentioned, we will not be doing a live stream next week because we're off for a few days because it is Silvana, my wife's birthday next week. So we will be off for a few. One of the days is a working day. I don't know when I'm going to actually get round to mentioning that to her, but yeah, then we're just going to have a couple of days relaxing. So it will be the week after, and we're going to be catching up with some of our home buyers. We're hoping that Lama Law is going to be here, and also Capistrano Mark's going to be here, and hopefully we're going to get somebody else on as well. So they're going to be giving everybody updates on what they're doing. They're actually here in Abruzzo at the moment, so that should be pretty good. Hopefully we're going to get one live from their roof terrace and one live from their garden, and then we'll see if we can bring somebody else in as well. So that should all be good as well. Okay, so Connie's saying that she's going to be back Abruzzo end of July, so keep watching then, Connie. Hopefully I'll give you a few tips on some places to visit. So we are going to be obviously talking about properties and areas that I think you should be looking in, but then I'm going to be giving you some places what I think are must-see places when you actually come to Abruzzo. So let's just quickly do a couple of the a couple of things that we normally do, just a few things to tell you. So the tours, obviously the tours are back on again in September. In the autumn time. We've got September 25th, 26th, October 23rd, 24th, and November 6th and 7th. What I will say, September is pretty much full. We've got 4 spaces left on September tour. So if you are interested in the September one, you need to book pretty quick because there are only 4 spaces. October and November are great times to come. So don't worry if you don't get on the September one. Book one of the other ones. As everybody knows, they are fantastic ways of seeing the area and seeing the properties. The last couple of times that we did the tours, we saw over 20 properties in 2 days. I think the last one we saw 24 properties in 2 days, which was amazing, as well as seeing the areas as well and eating together. It's just a great couple of days. So if you are interested in joining that, then go onto the website, homeinitaly.com, and click on the tour page and book away and come and see us in autumn. We will be releasing next year's tour dates probably towards the end of July. We usually do the last Thursday and Friday of the month. So we're looking, it's either going to be January, March, April and May, or February, March, April and May. We're going to decide, but that will be published at the end of July. So that's the tours. What else do I need to tell you? I'm getting all frustrated now because I just can't work out what I'm supposed to be telling you. Anyway, as I said, no Domenico and Tony's tongue twisting trials. That will be back in next couple of weeks. The other thing that I want to mention as well is the Patreon page. I know it's going along the bottom of the screen, all about Patreon. Every week we are showing properties that's been sent in by our agents that nobody else is seeing at the moment. These are completely exclusive to Patreon members, and I'm really happy to say that we've got a large number of Patreon members that have bought properties, which is fantastic. That's what the page is for. So if you are interested, go onto the website, click on there's lots of publicity for Patreon. Click on there and have a look at the page. You get to see early access for the Saturday videos. You get to see exclusive videos that come in from our agents, and we also have a chat room in there as well. So it is a great thing to do. If you are interested, then make sure that you do have a look at that. I think that's about it, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's about it. We can almost get to questions. As I say, I will look at questions as I'm going along. Keep it relevant to tonight's subject, please, if you can. That is obviously Abruzzo as a region itself, and I will try and get to questions if I can. But we are going to be doing some map work and some photographs and things like that, so I may miss some of the questions. Unfortunately, just blame Tony. It's his fault anyway. Okay, so we're ready. Let's talk about the fantastic place of Abruzzo. So I don't know if any of you saw the program that was on TV by a certain person that's called Stanley, and that's as much as I'm saying, because I don't know if I should be saying what I'm not going to say anything bad anyway, but it was a great show that this particular person goes around Italy as usual, going to all the as they like to say, all these unique places, and then they go to all the usual subjects. But he actually came to Abruzzo this time, which is fantastic, because a lot of the time you get these sort of celebrity chefs and any other celebrity that do an Italian thing, and they tend to do everywhere other than Abruzzo. Not just Abruzzo, and some of the other regions in the south. And it's because they like to, everybody wants to, or they think that everybody wants to hear about Rome, Venice, the lakes, all the usual subjects. But anyway, this guy came and he did a good job of filming in Abruzzo. But I don't know if it's because some of these people are city people or whatever it is, but the descriptions of Abruzzo I just found wildly exaggerated. I really did. And it's sort of, part of me gets annoyed. I don't know why I get annoyed about things like that, because there's nothing to get annoyed about. But I just think when people don't know something about something, they should probably just stay quiet, because making stuff up, may be all right for TV and all the rest of it, but it's just not, it's not real. It's not the real, nobody seems to really get, they seem to get the Milans, they seem to get the Rome, they seem to get the, but aren't we all bored of that? Isn't it about time that somebody really got stuck into these, not just Abruzzo, but some of the areas in Puglia, some of the areas in Basilicata, some of the areas in Calabria, even in Sicily, that people don't know anything about? It's about time somebody really shook these programs up and took you to places that really are off the beaten track and that really are something special. And I think the thing that annoyed me the most listening to that show was just, as I say, some of the descriptions. One of the places I visited was Sulmona, and obviously we feature Sulmona quite a lot, and it was described as a remote mountain town. Now, Sulmona's got a huge motorway next to it that goes straight into Rome and straight into Pescara. It's got train stations. It's got everything. It's remote. I don't know what these people think remote is. The only thing I can imagine is they all live in cities and they're just city folk and don't understand if it's green, it's remote. That's the only thing I can think of, because some of the descriptions were just, as I said, you've got a motorway at the site. You can be in Rome in probably an hour and a half from Sulmona. Remote is the last thing it is, and it has mountains around it, but it's not up in the mountains. And some of these descriptions, somebody's just telling me now he lives in London. Well, say no more, because anything outside of London, I'm not even going down that line. Being a northerner and all that, I'm not saying nothing. But that answers a lot to me, because that does say a lot. So thank you for telling me that, Frosh Photo. I didn't realize that. But yeah, it is. And then they spoke about the Trabocchi coastline, which I'm going to speak about tonight as well, because that's one of the places where you should definitely visit. And it was described as 25, I think he said 25 miles or 25 kilometers of treacherous coastline. And these are quote, go and watch it yourself. That's what it said, treacherous coastline. I mean, it's got a cycle path next to it, that will run the full length of it soon. There's beaches. There's, where they're taking the video shots. I know exactly where they are. And if they would have gone another 100 meters, they would see people laid out on the beach, cars parked up, and all. What is it that we like to say about, a place to make it? I don't know. Are people so bothered about cities so much that everything else is just irrelevant? It really, I don't know. I just find it really, really strange. And a comment here: we found the coast pretty tame compared to ours on the Pacific, and that's what I mean. That's the kind of thing I mean. It's sort of, a treacherous coastline. I think it's absolutely, it's madness, and that's why we do everything we do to try and tell the truth about these places. And I'm not just talking about Abruzzo. Abruzzo does have its wild side. It has a majorly amazing wild side. You can really get lost in the mountains here if you wanted to, and it is incredible. But you're never far away from anything. And I think, the kind of descriptions, I do understand why some people think, property prices must be the way they are because the place, there's nobody there. When you hear descriptions like I heard on that show, and to be fair, there were some quite good things. I don't know if you saw it, and when they went in the mountains and they ate a rossicini in the mountains, and that particular part, which again I'm going to be talking about shortly, it is known as, it's nicknamed as Little Tibet, and it is fantastic, but I don't know. It must be a city thing. It must be a city thing. That's the only thing I can think of. And somebody mentioned here that we hiked the Col di San Martino recently, and it's stunning. That is Lama Lori. She's watching tonight, and it is stunning. And they're the kind of places that, yes, you could take a photograph from inside these places. And as you go, this is a crack in the mountain in Faro San Martino, where you can touch either side of the mountain range and walk through and see a monastery that's 1,000 years old. Now, if you took a photograph from inside that, yes, you could say I'm in the middle. You could make anything up, to be honest with you. You could say you stood on the moon, and people would believe it because the photographs will show that. But you walk out of this, and there's a car park, and there's a town there, and it's just like, and there's supermarkets, and there's everything else. We've done a few recent live shows where I've been using Google Earth a lot to try and show people how close all of these medieval towns and things are to other things. And I think, again, when people see medieval towns and historical towns and things like that, and then they think about that kind of lifestyle, they think about it's very different to most other places in the world, Italy, because it's character. Every region is different. Everything is so, and you could easily make it out as if it's something that it really isn't. And I can understand why people get confused and think that it is remote and think that it is run down. I can understand that, but it doesn't help as well when people are giving descriptions just just because they're city folks. So anyway, that's a little bit of a rant and a rave, but I wanted to get it out there because I think it's important for people to understand what it's all about. And on that subject, I just want to, because again, this may seem like it's out in the wilds. This is I meant to actually do the stunning photo of the week, and I forgot to do it. I'm going to quickly do it. This was sent in by our very own Pacentro Pete, and I hope he's watching. I think he's on his way to Japan at the moment. So if anybody's in Japan and can hunt him down and get a photograph, then that would just be amazing. And he sent me a photograph, and he did send me this about a month ago, something like that, where he said, "Life is so hard." And look at this. Look what he sent to me. And this is on his terrace in Pacentro, and amazing. I just thought, well, that was fantastic, a fantastic photo. So I'm just going to quickly include that as a stunning photo of the week. That's from our very own Pacentro Pete. But yes, I think it's important for people to understand really what an area is like. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk firstly about if you were coming here and you were looking for somewhere to live and you're thinking, I need to try and split these areas down. I'm just going to give you my thoughts on that and which areas I think you should be looking at and how to split it into segments so you can get the best out of the time that you're here. And then we're going to talk about the places that I think you should visit if you come to Abruzzo, if you have the time, if you come in as a tourist, or if you come in viewing properties. Do not take up all your time just looking at properties. That's the last thing you should do. And if you're not ready to buy for another year, I wouldn't even bother looking at any properties. I would just spend time going around the area. You're just wasting time if you want to look at properties and you're not ready. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with this map. Not the best map in the world, but this gives us an idea of the layout of Abruzzo. And I'm just going to get my pen just so I can start scribbling all over the place. I'm not going to use red because I don't like that. Let's use blue. Okay, so what I would say is when it comes to looking for a property, I would split the areas up into this way. Obviously, we have Pescara, we have Aquila, we have Teramo, and we have Chieti. They're all towns and cities, and they are the regions of Abruzzo, the provinces of Abruzzo. But I would split it up slightly different. So hopefully you guys are going to be able to see this. So I'm going to split it up this way for you. You should be able to see blue lines coming on there. So this is zone number 1. Then we have, I'm going to say this here, which is zone number 2. And then we have, I'm going to go to here. And this is number 3. And then we've got the 4th one, which takes us to the top of the area, 4. And then we're going to have all the rest, which is running in this sort of space in the middle. And this is 5. Right, so the reason why I've split it into these areas is because this is, in my opinion, this is a good example of the kind of places and how different each part of Abruzzo can be. So zones 1 and 2 that you can see on the right hand side. Let me get my there's another thing, turn off. How do I get my turn on the laser? Hopefully you can see this a bit better. So now I'm talking about these areas here, zone 1 and 2. And zones 1 and 2 are actually all in the Chieti region of Abruzzo. And the reason why I split this into 2, and there is a road here that hopefully you can still see that red thing. There is a road here that runs basically on to Naples, and that runs coast to coast. Now, anything south of that particular road, so maybe not including Atessa, but anything as in this sort of area, on this map it's showing GC, but these are areas such as Roccaspinalvetti, Carunchio, which is down in these areas. Now, this is the cheapest part of Abruzzo. Let's talk some facts here, because this is a fact. Doesn't matter what website you go on, this is the cheapest part of Abruzzo by far. And most of Abruzzo is excellent value for money, but this is the cheapest. So if you have a restricted budget and you want quite a lot for that, then I would suggest that you look in zone number 1. And I would say the reason why it's cheap in those areas is the towns are a little bit more isolated. The roads are not as good. Again, I don't want to appear as if I'm pulling the place down, because I love Abruzzo. You all know how much I love Abruzzo. But I want to talk realities, and I don't think anybody can really argue with what I'm going to say, especially people that have been here. So in these areas, that is the reality of it. You do need public transport, but you need public transport in most parts, to be honest with you, of Abruzzo. But I will point out the places to look at shortly where you may not need that. So I would say number 1, if you want a lot for your money, so if you're looking for those detached properties and you've maybe got 30, 40, 50k and that kind of thing, then zone number 1 is the area. But be prepared that there are some compromises to be had. On the coast, Vasto is incredible. I'm going to be talking about Vasto shortly as well. So it's got, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, coastal town. Rich is saying, don't do a Stanley on area number 1 now, Dave. No, I know it's, but I've been to these places, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm definitely not saying it's bad. That's not what we're doing this for. I'm just giving people the reality of it, and that is the reality of it. That it is the cheapest area, and there's a reason for that. Nobody's saying it's bad at all, but at least I've been to these areas. That's the difference. But I know what you're saying. Nice one, Richie. I do like that. Then we have zone number 2. Zone number 2 is the area that I chose. The reason why I chose this area is I love the mountains. I absolutely love mountains, and we have the Maiella National Park. So this, if you're looking for the mountains and easy access to them, then this is the Maiella National Park. I don't know why my phone keeps beeping. I thought I'd turn that off. And then we have the Gran Sasso National Park, which is in this area. These are the areas with the biggest mountain ranges. Nowhere else. Again, I'm talking facts. I'm not making this up. This is a fact. So we chose this area because good access to Chieti and Pescara and the motorway to go towards Rome, because my wife's family come from that side. Also, we liked a lot of the towns around here, and we love the mountains, and my wife loves the coastline. And when it comes to coastlines, I'm going to be talking about this as well, some facts about the coastline. We preferred the southern part of Abruzzo for the coastline. I'm going to show you why soon. We also like that Lanciano is a great town. Guardia is a great town. We just found it easier to get around, even though the roads where I live in Palombaro, there obviously it has its curves and its bends, but 10 minutes we're on good roads and moving along. In these areas, again, you still need transport. You still need public transport, unless you're in the bigger towns such as Guardia, Casari, Lanciano. And some of the smaller towns, even in the south, obviously still have buses, but there's a difference between having a bus that runs once, twice a day and a bus that runs 6, 7, 8 times a day, there and back. Palombaro has a bus service, but if I had to rely on that bus service, then it would be a nightmare, to be honest with you. Troy is saying, now the big question, gang, for each zone, which one has the highest percentage of double glazed windows? Those who know. Troy, you do make me laugh. Okay, then we have zone number 3. Zone number 3 is a popular zone. It does cover places like Loreto Apretino, which is a great town, and Penne, people like around there. You've also got much easier access to Pescara and the coastline of Pescara and Montesilvano. I'm going to be telling you the difference between those places. It is, for me, it's a little bit more industrial in parts, but again, we have some great towns, and some of those have decent public transport as well. So this is another good area. Then we have, I'm going to skip to zone 5. Zone 5 again is one of my favorite areas, and includes places like Sulmona, includes places like Raiano that people have seen, Popoli, and also the capital of Abruzzo, which is Aquila as well. Public transport is much better in this area. around the Sulmona and heading towards Aquila. That's a fact, because it's running along the main motorway system that runs onto Rome. So you get the train line, because the train line runs up and down the coastline, and it runs inland from Pescara, basically. So you've got areas such around here that do have better public transport. That, again, is a fact. The fantastic towns. They are much more ancient towns than well, they're all ancient, but what I mean by that, there was less destruction during World War II to some of these places. So it is quite authentic, quite sort of I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but anyway, you do find some of the towns are fantastic there as well. So that's area number 5. Obviously, the downside to that one is you're a little bit further away from the coast, but some people are not bothered about that. The upside is you're closer to Rome and all that kind of thing. And then you've got area 4, which some people may shout at me. I would say this is the least popular out of the 5 that I've split it up. But the reason why I would say that is probably because there's not as many agents that are working it from and sort of appealing to overseas buyers. Now, I've written down here that I call this area limbo. And I don't know why because Atri is beautiful. Pineto on the beach is beautiful. Notaresco is beautiful. Teramo is beautiful as a larger town. There's just a lot of nothing for me. I call it limbo because there's not. It's almost in La Marche, but it's not, and it's on the way out of Abruzzo. So, and again, I'm not doing a Tucci as Richie said. Again, this is just based on my own experience, because I have travelled Abruzzo from north to south, from east to west, to find what I feel. I put probably 70,000 kilometers on my car a few years ago, just after COVID and just before COVID, trying to find the areas that I really wanted to work in. And I chose the ones I did for my own reasons, because people do buy in other areas. But these are how I would split it up. I would say if you were tight on time, I still believe in the areas that we chose. I still believe area 2 and area 5, if you're tight on time, are the ones you're going to go. If you're tight on budget, then 1 it should be where you spend a lot of your time. I would say 3, probably slightly higher budget. Some of the properties can be a little bit higher, and even in 4, they can be a little bit higher. I would say between 3 and 4 are possibly the most expensive ones. The main reason for that is this Pescara basin. So there's lots of industry, there's lots of works, and people can easily get to Pescara. So obviously there's an Italian market in there as well. We chose mainly to work in 2 and 5. As I say, for reasons that I've gone through on the show and in the past, but that's not pulling other areas down. As I said, each one has but we need to talk facts, and that's what I want to do. So let's just talk some more facts. Let me get rid of some of these. How do I clear all this pen? See, this is what happens when I've got nobody helping me now. Turn on the pen. Here we go. The rubber thing. Does that get rid of it? Anyway, I think I've probably done with the map. So that's. I'm also going to. I would say if you're looking to come to property, to look for areas to live, and seriously look for areas to live, take a photograph of that map now and look at the towns closer up to then decide which ones you're going to include when you come, because it's pointless. It's pointless you sort of thinking, well, I'm going to see them all, because unless you're here for a long time, it's just not going to happen. And it's pointless you're thinking as well that I'm just going to put this laser thing on again, that you're going to visit this place, and then you're going to visit this place, and then afterwards you're going to visit this place, because as you can see, the main roads are few and far between, and getting from one to another can be, in the words of Tucci, a little bit treacherous. So you need to really break it up and visit these areas individual. For me, the must-sees, which I'm going to say that because I have to stick by what I've always said. When I've been out and about and looking for places, I would say the must-sees are 2 and 5. And within 5, I would say the areas around Sulmona and those areas. Within 2, obviously, I'm going to say the areas where I am, because I love it. Guardia Grel, Casoli, Faro San Martino, Lama di Peligna, places like that. I would split it up to that. Fresh Photo saying really love the transportation in 5, which is true. You know, at the end of the day, you've got to be honest with yourself. If you need good transport, it's pointless looking in my town. It's pointless looking in Palambaro. It's pointless looking in Penepiedemonte. It's pointless looking in I don't know, Rocca Spinalvetti in the south. It's pointless looking in some of the smaller villages. In fact, you have to be real about it, because if you only got 1 or 2 buses a day, and you think, well, I can manage with that. It's just not going to happen, because you're going to have one bus that leaves at 6 in the morning and then brings you back at 1 o'clock. You're just not going to be able to do it. So you have to be honest with yourself and say, what are the must-haves, and then you can start to look at these areas. So other facts that I want to tell you is, let's talk about the coast. The coastline is different in 2 areas. I'm going to go back to the map quickly, just so I can't believe I can't get rid of all this blue scribble that I've done. Let me change the color of the pen to green. Right, so this part of the coastline, I'm now working at the top of the page down to here. Hopefully you can see that green line I've just done. And then I'm going to put a line like this so you can easily see it. And then from Ortona, or just north of Ortona, south to Vasto, the coastline is completely different. This is a fact. I personally prefer this part of the coastline, the south part of the coastline, for reasons that I'm going to show you. Obviously, if you're living in area number 5, you can run along the motorway towards Pescara, and then you can split off and go north or south, depending the type of beach and the type of area that you prefer. But this is a fact. They are completely different. Somebody's saying, push the button on the pen. Yeah, I think I've pretty much done with this map now. Thanks anyway for the tip. So the fact is, the north part, so north of Ortona, heading towards Francavilla, northwards, this is actually one of the nicest beaches, I would say, in the north part, which is in Pineto. It has a pine forest behind it. It is a really nice stretch of beach. This is the coastline from Francavilla all the way up. Probably there's a split in Ancona where there's a beautiful part of the coastline there, but all the way up to Rimini and probably beyond there. This is a flat coastline, and this is what you find, which is great. Don't get me wrong. People, want to go to the beach. This is where you get lots of restaurants, bars, and all the rest of it. This is the coastline. If you prefer something, what was the word that he used earlier? Treacherous. If you want something a little bit more wild, let's say, but easily accessible, I will keep saying that. Hopefully, a certain person may listen to this. Then you would go to the south, which is more like this. So this has Ortona in the distance. So Ortona is here. I'm going to start writing on this, and this is this is the Trabocchi coastline. This is one of the Traboccas in the middle of the picture. I've lost my thing. Anyway, so that is the Trabocchi coastline. This is the difference. Now there are still beaches, and there are still there's lots of beaches. You get pebble beaches, you get sandy beaches, you get a variety of coastline. And for me, it's just a more picturesque coastline. But that's just my opinion. Some of you may think completely different to me. But the law is saying we bike the coastline and love the Verde. So yeah, you're talking about this part, because down in the corner of this photograph that you can't quite see, but I don't know if you can see the green line I'm drawing now, you can just see a tiny pathway, and that is part of the cycle path I'm going to show you shortly as well. But again, these are facts. These are facts that this is the difference between the coastline. You don't get coastline like this in the north, and you don't get coastline, the one that I've seen, the one I showed you in the south, unless you go to somewhere like Vasto that has a beautiful coastline. Then it has a big wide open beaches with umbrellas like this, and so does a lot of other places as well, even in the south. But it breaks up, and you get nature reserves down there. It's a different type of coastline. That's a fact. Let's have a look at what the next. I can't remember. I only prepared this afternoon, so I can't remember everything that I've put on here. Oh, it's a blue screen, so that must mean a change of subject. So that's the fact part. That is where we're talking about depending on the kind of houses, depending on the kind of lifestyle. I mentioned the south of the region, but the south of the region has the best coastline, in my opinion. And the far south that I mentioned was an area that is the cheapest part, has, in my opinion, probably the best coastline as well, which is the best coastal town, which is Vasto. So there's trade-offs for each thing. But if you took a photograph, and hopefully you did, of that, that should give you a good idea of where to start looking, where to start thinking, okay, well, I'm going to have a look at this area and I'm going to have a look at this area. Don't try and mix them all up. Go and have a good look at each one if you're here for a long time, or just pick the odd ones and just see that. But the main thing to do is to make sure you see the area around the towns that you've seen the properties, because that is majorly important. Because believe me, Abruzzo, like Italy, is completely different from region, from province to province, and then from towns to towns, and there can be a massive difference in just 5-10 kilometers. The scenery can change dramatically. If you want dramatic, then you have to head to those higher mountain ranges. You have to head to the Maella National Park or the Gran Sasso National Park, because the rest are hills. I don't care if people say no, they're not, they're mountains. No, they're not. The mountain ranges are the part of the Maella that also includes Monte Marone as well, close to Sulmona and some of the mountains around that area. And the Gran Sasso National Park. They're the main ones. They're the ones that you see the photographs on. So think wisely about the areas, because it obviously is really important. But some people write on my videos and on the YouTube channel and say, Dave, you do things the wrong way around. You show the town first. You should show the property first, because I would only be interested in the town if I'm interested in the property. I disagree with that. I think, and it's a known thing, location. People will often compromise on a property to be in that better location, and I think that's a huge thing. So moving on to tonight's next subject, which is if you're coming here not just as looking for properties, but also as a tourist, I want to show you what I think are things that, and I've had to think hard about this, because the whole of Abruzzo is amazing. But obviously, if I had to sort of give you, how many things have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 9, 10 different places that I'm going to show you that I think you should visit. So get your pen and paper ready, and I will tell you these places as we go along. So I would say, when it comes to the coastline, I think for me, the Trabocchi coastline is a must see. So the Trabocchi are these, let me just make okay, make me a little bit small and the photos a bit bigger. The Trabocchi are ancient fishing vessels that most of them are restaurants now, and it's a fantastic dining experience. You've got to book to get in there, because they're very popular. People come from all over Italy to go out on these things. They're fantastic. It's great. You can go on through the day. You can go in the night time. They're just, and that part of the coastline is I'm going to use my word, it is stunning. And for me, and we're just going to flick to Google Maps. Where are we? Let's see, we should be okay. So just so you where these photographs are, for me, the best part that you should visit, let me find maps, here we go. The part that you should visit, the Trabocchi coastline basically runs from Ortona down to Vasto. Okay, so this is the stretch. The part that I think personally is the best, and where I'm going to show the photographs now, is the part from Fossa Cesia, from where it comes out a little bit here. So let's say from around here. So this is the beach at Fossa Cesia. Fossa Cesia has a pebble beach. But once you get to the north of the town, from this area along this headland, and then carrying on a little bit further. For me, this is a beautiful part. And if you wanted to carry on going up the coastline, go towards San Vito, and then also San Vito to Ortona is beautiful. But the pictures I'm going to show you come from this part of the Trabocchi coastline, which I think is beautiful. So write that in on your piece of paper. That's how you spell Fossa Cesia, Fossaccesia. And straight away, even if you click on Google Earth, the first thing to show you is the Trabocchi. So this is a great part to see. most of that coastline is beautiful, but I'm just going to tell you the ones that I think. Let me get rid of this, hide on the screen. Where's my so this is I think this is just a little bit further north of Fossa Cesia. And then the next photo is going to show you this is what Laurie was saying about that they cycle this pathway. By the way, this is that treacherous coastline, inaccessible coastline. Can you see how dangerous it looks? Look at that car park on the left. That just looks so dangerous, doesn't it? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that person on his bike. How dangerous does that look? And those two people in the sea, they're just crazy, absolutely crazy. So I'm just not going to shut up about this. I can't help it. I'm very passionate about this area. So this is an amazing track. You can rent bikes, you can rent electric bikes, you can do. So it's just a great place to go and see. So you must see this part. Here's looking in the other direction, heading down towards Fossa Cesia. And this is the kind of coastline it is. And eventually the whole of Abruzzo from north to south will be all connected and you'll be able to do the whole thing. This to me is just a brilliant part. Okay, so that's the first thing that you should see, the Trabocchi coastline, and do it in the place where I've just said. The next thing, this one, sorry, this is another Trabocchi. This one got me thinking a little bit because I wasn't sure. I was thinking about the mountains. So what I'm going to say for you to visit, oh no, wrong order, sorry. Sticking with the coastline, David. Let's stick with the coastline. So moving on from the Trabocchi coastline, I then mentioned Vasto. Vasto is not the furthest south town, but it is the second furthest town south of Abruzzo. And I think personally that Vasto is, in my opinion, the best of the seaside towns. In my opinion, because I think it's got the old town on the top. It's got amazing views. It's got that holiday vibe. It's got all the rest of it. It's got a beautiful beach. Then it has the new modern areas at the bottom as well. So another place to visit if you want to go to a coastal town, I would say Vasto. This is taken from the old town, so you can park the car up there. Again, looking down at the treacherous coastline. And this is taken from the old part of town. And just to give you a little bit of an insight of what Vasto is like, this is the kind of scenery that you get. There's a walkway that runs along the edge of the old town. You can actually see it down here at the bottom. This is the walkway here. In fact, that actually looks like my son. And then the actual town itself, it has some amazing dining experiences where you're sort of on the edge of this the edge of the old town looking down over the beach. And then we have the old town itself. It is quite touristy, lots of Italian tourists, mainly Italian tourists, but people come from the south upwards to it. It's just a beautiful town. In my opinion, if you had to visit one of the towns, this is the one it would be. This is one of our favorite restaurants. You can see the view. This is my wife Silvana in the foreground looking at this concert that was on there. But we love going to this restaurant. The views are amazing. You can see in the background, you can see the coast there. You're quite high up. It's just a great atmosphere. So let's move on from that one. So that would be what I would say to you if you're going to go to Vasto. And Vasto, just to quickly show you on this map, is not the furthest south, but the second. Let me just show you where that is quickly. So from the you could do it at the same time as you visit the Trabocchi coastline. Just head a bit further south. There is an amazing part of I nearly put it on as an amazing part of the coastline, which is called Punta. Write this down as well. Punta Aderci. Punta Aderci is a nature reserve, and that is stunning as well. It didn't quite make it onto my tonight's thing because I think the Trabocchi coastline just edges it, but this is amazing. It's just not, but you could do the Trabocchi coastline, then do this place, Punta Aderci, and then go to Vasto, which is this town here. And as I say, Abruzzo finishes here. So that's my tip for the coastline. Now let's go to mountains. I was thinking about the mountains, and let me get my photographs back on. I think you have to follow in the footsteps of that person who I've mentioned quite a lot. And you have to go towards the Gran Sasso. and the Campo Imperatore, which was nicknamed Little Tibet, or the Abruzzo Tibet. It is wild. It is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning there. And there is a ranch there that it was an interesting story. Actually, that was one of the great things on that particular show that explained about this ranch. But they do arrosticini, which is amazing food. If you've never had arrosticini, it's mutton. It's actually castrated mutton. Sounds glorious, doesn't it? And it's done on a special barbecue, cooked over coals, and you just add salt to it. And these things are incredible, absolutely incredible, a must-have. It's a summer food, but it's also a winter food. Us living here have it all the time, but summertime, every festa you go to, there will be arrosticinis. But there's a place where you can go there, and it has these barbecues outside, and you just basically, it's almost like a butcher's counter, and you buy your arrosticini, go outside and cook them. It's incredible. So that is definitely worth going to see. That's near the Gran Sasso, and it's called Campo Imperatore. There's also the hotel, that's the old hotel up there that was, I think Mussolini was hiding out there or held there. There's a lot of story to go and see up that way as well, but that is well worth a visit. And then the other mountain range that we talk about is the Maiella mountain range, which is the range that I'm next to. It's called the Mother Mountain, and I think what I love about the Maiella is it's a little bit more accessible. The Gran Sasso, to see it, is incredible. When you see this slab of granite looking at you when you're coming off the motorway, it's unbelievable. The Maiella is a more rounded, sort of more, you can get into it easy, you can drive up into it easy, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. So I would definitely recommend that you go to the areas, to the ski areas, that's called Mama Rosa. And there's a walk that you can do. You can actually drive to 2,000 meters. This is the great thing about the Maiella side. You can drive to 2,000 meters, so you're already at 6,000 feet, and then you can walk in. So you feel like one of these, these people that walk too much, in my opinion, should sit down a bit more. But the ones that love the mountain walking, they get the best views. Well, you can have a bit of that if you're a little bit lazier like me, where you can drive there and then walk in, and you don't have to do that 2,000-mile hike. So go to a place called Mama Rosa, head to as high as you can. There's some antennas at the top, and then you want to head to a place called Blockhouse, which is there's a story behind that from the war, from the Second World War, and this is the kind of scenery that you get from there. This is the path that you can drive up here, and then this is a simple walk, and it is absolutely stunning because you're seeing the really high mountains, and behind, if we turned around, you could pretty much see 3/4 of Abruzzo and the sea, and it is just incredible. And this is what I love about the Maiella side. As I say, it's just a bit more accessible. I'll show you on the map where that is as well. I am going to run over time. I do apologize. I know most of you won't mind, but let me just quickly show you where that is. So again, the two mountain ranges that I talked about, Maiella is all of this, and then the Gran Sasso is here. So the one I'm talking about now, I live in Palombaro. Most of you know that there's all these places: Faro San Martino, Guardiagrel, Lama de Peligno, Casoli. But if you go to, there's Passo Lanciano, Maialetta, that's one of the ski resorts, and then you go higher from there, and you will come up to, when I find it, yes, I'm losing my place now. Where am I? Where am I? Here's Passo Lanciano. So we're heading. So yeah, Maialetta. So it is. It's up into this area here, and you actually then get to the part where the antennas are, which let me just show you. Let me see if I can get the little man. That should show what it's like when you get up there. Yeah. So this is what you're heading for, and basically the road up is fantastic. Then you wind your way up this road. And from the edge, you can see, we're probably not going to be able to see it. Here you can see the whole of Abruzzo. So you're at 6,000 feet here. You can see the sea usually. You carry on around this road. You can see here where you can leave your cars. You leave your car here, and then you walk up, get past the antennas, and then you are in the place that I've just been showing you on the. Let me bring that back on. Hide on stream. I'm doing well here, aren't I? I'm doing well. And then you're in this place, and it really is easy to get to. So make a note of that as well. Let's get the next photograph, which I think is, yeah, this is the kind of walks that you can do up there. And look how high, look how amazing. It looks like, you can send photographs and tell all your family that you've been walking for 12 hours to get up here. But it is absolutely, absolutely incredible. So that's a definite on the list. Next one, I was thinking about castles. I know there's lots of people that like a good castle. And there are many, many castles in Abruzzo, but I've chosen 2 that I think you should go to. So number 1 on the list is a place called Rocca Scalegna. Rocca Scalegna is about half an hour from where I live. It's not far from Lake Bomba. And Rocca Scalegna is a small town and has this incredible castle. You can see it there. That's on top of the rock. Let me see if I can. Oops, I've gone too far. So on top of the rock here. It's an amazing, from this side, it looks like nothing, but when you drive past it and to the right of it, just look at this place. This is a stunning castle. It's absolutely incredible. Well worth a visit. You can walk up into the castle. You can pay to go in there. It's well worth it. It's absolutely amazing there. So Rocca Scalegna. Write that one down if you are into your castle. So ROCCASC. ALEGNA, Rocca Scalegna. Very, very easy to get to. And this is the kind of place that you can go and see when you're around our neck of the woods. So if you're close to Casoli, let's say, and these sort of Faro San Martino, these sorts of areas, and these are great places to visit. Next on the castle, this is still Rocca Scalegna. Look at the way it's built onto this limestone rock. It's mind-blowing. Absolutely. This is why I always say that in Abruzzo, it's best to have a car, because there are so many things to see. It's beyond belief. I mean, I've picked out just a small amount of these things for you to see. You wouldn't believe what's here. You will not believe what is here. Okay, I'll keep moving on. Otherwise, you're going to be here for another 3 hours. The next castle is, obviously, this is one of the most famous ones that I only went to see. When was it? About 2 months ago, and this is Roccacalascio. Absolutely incredible place. If you don't like heights, which I don't, you won't like this, because it is very high, and you basically park in the town below, and you get a bus up to it. And I think Domenico, we actually went there with Domenico, I think he thought that I was having a heart attack on the bus. I was absolutely terrified, because the roads are great, but yeah, just thinking about it now, my hands are sweating. So if you don't like heights, you may not like it, but we're an amazing place. It's the highest castle in the Apennines. Well worth a visit. And another photograph of it here. This is, just look at it. Look how incredible this is. Absolutely incredible. So definitely well worth a visit, again, if you like your castle. So this is Roccacalascio, and this is in the Aquila region. So if you're heading out towards sort of Popoli, Sulmona, maybe you want to go and see Capistrano, where Capistrano Mark is, and then head up and see this amazing place as well. You've definitely got to see this place. This is when you can actually say, look at the wilds of Abruzzo, because when you look out from there, I was even shocked at how obviously on our side of the mountain, on the sea side of the mountain, when you're in the high mountains, you look and you can see all the towns and all the villages, and especially if you go up in the evening time and you've got all the lights of the towns and villages, you go up there, you see nothing. And it is vast. You just see the amazing mountain ranges. It really is something incredible. So definitely worth a visit. Then let's talk lakes. Again, a number of lakes in Abruzzo, but the one for me that is well worth the visit is the Lago di Scano, and Scano is the famous heart-shaped lake. This is a walkway up and out of the off the lake. Obviously, I think I've been told it takes. I didn't take this photograph, by the way. There were no roads. No, I'm not that lazy. But this is incredible. And I think the thing with Scano, it's the it's the drive up to it as well. It is, you know, when you everybody knows how passionate I am about this area, and so many times I go somewhere new and get blown away. And when I first went here, just the drive to it is just you can't explain it. It's just unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's tucked in the mountains, and I think I've got some photographs of the drive. This is what to expect. Things like this, and you're almost like, where am I going? It's like you're leaving civilization behind, going into the mountains that somebody's carved out of it. And we did this this was actually coming back from, we were heading back towards Sulmona area from this. But the drive, this was in wintertime. I think we went to some friends of ours, but this is what it's like. The tunnel that I've just shown you the photograph of is behind us. And this is what it's like. And you go in the tight mountains. Then all of a sudden, there's a couple of lakes. Because the first one, Villago, I think it's called, which is this one. And the colors are just, you've never seen colors like them. And it's like you've left the world behind and you've gone somewhere. You know, if you want to just feel so chilled out that, you know, these are the places you want to be going and seeing. Absolutely incredible place. And just to pull the car over and take a few photographs is amazing. And Scanno itself, the town itself, I mean, it is popular for tourists. It's so ancient. You know, it's, I mean, you've seen streets like this before all over Italy, but Scanno has that. I would say this is a great autumn and winter, or autumn or spring place to go. It's just amazing. The atmosphere is absolutely incredible. So definitely there are a few steps in the towns, but it is accessible, the tourist bits. But if you want to sort of, it's not a huge place, but if you want to wander off, then there are a few steps around. But it is absolutely incredible there. So that's what I would say when it comes to visiting the lakes. Then let's move on to the bigger towns. I've nearly finished. I'll probably keep you another 10 minutes. I hope you don't mind. Some of the bigger towns, if you're going to see them, then I would say everybody's going to know what I have to say. Sulmona, you've got to see Sulmona. You have in the Aqua area, and this again is the remote mountain town as it was described. Now I can understand looking at that photograph, you probably think, well, it is right, Dave, it is, but you're in the flatlands here. The mountains are your backdrop, and as I say, you've got motorways, you've got train stations and everything else. Anyway, I'll get over that. Has a great market here in Sulmona, which I think is on a Thursday. Somebody may correct me, I'm not sure. Great atmosphere. So if you're going to visit some of the bigger places, then I would say Sulmona has to be on there. Let me just show you another couple of pictures of Sulmona. This was taken from one of our tours. It was boiling this day, and yeah, here's an overview of the main piazza and the aqueduct. So Sulmona has to be on there. But what I would also say is, if you've got time for a couple of towns, one that gets overlooked that shouldn't be overlooked, and that is Chieti. Chieti is a, why did I say it 3 times? Chieti 4 times is an incredible place. It's close to Pescara. Unfortunately, Pescara got completely destroyed and bombed out in World War II. Chieti didn't. Chieti was classed as a free city where apparently the Red Cross were and things like that. So there was agreements, if there can be agreements during war, not to bomb it from the air. And so it still retains the old charm. And Chieti is actually, it predates Rome. You know, it's an incredible place. You've got to see it from the outside. Looking at Chieti, you've got. Why do I keep saying Chieti? It looks like any other Italian city. You know, with the not so nice 1970s flats and all. Get through all of that as you would do if you go anywhere else, whether you're going to Florence or Rome or wherever. Get through that and go to this town, because it really is a fantastic place. You have to come and see this place. And this is the kind of, there's a beautiful cathedral there. This is the kind of style. It's quite an elegant city. It really is a stunning place. There's a beautiful theatre there. There's an amazing cathedral to go and visit as well. And then there's also a park in the middle. It has these little areas. This is one of the, excuse me, the original gates into the city on the right-hand side. Some great restaurants around this area. It's just well worth going to see. So again, if you're thinking about cities, this is the park in the middle as well. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place to see. So Sulmona, obviously, very, very popular, but don't miss Chieti. Definitely don't. And if you've got a choice between Chieti and Pescara, go for Chieti every time. Pescara is great for modern shops, for the cafe bar sort of thing and all that. But Chieti is Italy. Chieti is what you expect when you go to Italy. So out of the towns I've shown you tonight, Vasto, Sulmona, and Chieti, fantastic. If you want to see bigger places, I would say. If you want to see some things that are really unique, then there's loads of these in Abruzzo. There's loads of things tucked away and put on the side of mountains, but there's two that stick out, and these two are in the same place, and it's a small town called Roccamorice, and it's on the north flank of the Maiella, and our good friend, was almost like family now, geometer, that helps check all the documents for all these people that's buying properties. He's by our side and checking the documents, making sure everything's right. Lives there. So Roccamorice, write that down, Roccamorice. And somebody saying my family's from Roccamorice. There you go. Who was it? SP? What was the name on that? SPXN Joya, whatever that means. But so great place. And the places I would say, if you want to see something really unusual, and this is purely based on the feeling I got when I went here, outside of Roccamorice, there's two hermits' chapels. And these chapels were, one of them's famous from the Pope of Rome at the time. Suddenly thought, I've had enough of this. I want to go in the mountains, and went and hid himself away in the mountains. And these two places, one of them is called Santo Spirito, and I'm going to show you that first. Just look at this. Look how that has been built into the mountainside. And this is about a 5-minute ride out of Roccamorice. And Roccamorice is it's only a small town, but it has a couple of bars, it has some great restaurants and some brilliant restaurants on the way up to this place. You must go and see it. If you want to experience something really different, then these two places are both in Roccamorice. This is Santo Spirito, amazing. You can drive up to this place, there's a car park, and then you walk for 5 minutes and you're here. And we're talking 1,000 years of story between this and the other, over 1,000 years. It's unbelievable. And you can get into the main the main church, if you like, through this door here. That's free of charge. But then if you pay, it's a small amount, you can go this side, where you go to the back of the church and see all of these the accommodation that they built at the time. Sorry, I click the photo off, all in the backs here, and how they did it, it's just amazing. And look, I mean, how unique is that, built into the rock side like that? And this is another photograph of it, just to see a bit more of the side. So these are must-sees as well. If you want to go somewhere that's just, you feel, and especially maybe if you're religious as well, they're places like you'll have never seen before in your life. Incredible. And the other one is a tiny one, and I think Santo Spirito is the one to do with the Pope. But the next one is called San Bartolomeo. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this is just unbelievable. And look at that little chapel at the end. And the way it's built into the rock again. I mean, the first time I went here was a couple of years ago. And just the walk to it. Here, there's a car park. Again, just outside of Roccamorice. You can see these two really easy together. There's a car park there, and there's a few restaurants there, and then you've got about a 20-minute walk to get to this. It's mind-blowing. And as you're walking towards it, you're walking down the valley side, and inside this little church is a bell that you can ring when you're in there. So as you're walking down the valley side to head towards this unbelievable place, you can just hear the bells ringing in this valley. And it's, believe me, if you don't get goosebumps for that, then I don't know what. Incredible. You must go and see these places. Then I'm going to finish off now, and I'm sorry that I'm running late. I'm going to finish off with two special towns and villages, the smaller ones. And I've picked these two. Again, there's hundreds of them. Everybody's going to have their favorites, but these two for me just, I'm not saying necessary to live there, even though obviously lots of people do. I'm not saying it all about sort of selling houses there. But I think if you want to experience a village that's just something, what's the word I'm looking for? Just something incredible. Then I would choose these two. The first one being Pacentro, where our very own Pacentro Peak comes from. Pacentro is close to Sulmona. Sulmona on this photograph is in the background in the valley. And then we have places like Raiano, which is this is Raiano here in the background. There's Vittorito that's further around the corner. Popoli, Intro d'Acqua, Prezza, all of these places. Prezza is here on the hill, another great place. Pacentro is well worth a visit. There's also a zip line here that you can go across the valley side. We went there with our kids. Obviously, I didn't do it. There was no way that I was going to get on that. But if you've got kids that like that kind of thing, you basically plunge yourself over this valley, and yeah, zip line Maya to somebody. It is. Laura's saying yeah, I remember, Laura. You've actually done this, didn't you? You took some photographs. But that's a fantastic experience. But Pacentro is just a little picture town. I can't think of the word. Anyway, I would definitely say Pacentro, and this is what it's like in the town. This church is beautiful. Just one of those places where you just go and visit. Just go and just think, this is amazing, and you really will do. My next one and the last one, and again I had to think about. I had a few. Sorry, this is another picture of Pacentro. My last one, what I want to finish on, I'm not going to choose the town where I live. I live in Palombara. I'm not choosing that, not for any bad reason. But I just think when it comes to this category of something a bit unique, a little jewel, that's the word I'm looking for. So that side of the mountains, the Aquila side of the mountains, I will give that to Pacentro. This side of the mountains, it has to be Penepiedimonte. It's 5 minutes up the road from me. It's a tiny village, but it's just stunning. And there's a bar there. I always find the bars, obviously, and I love just look at the views. And this village is actually, if you saw it, it looks like somebody's shoved it up against a mountainside, and all the houses are stacked on top of each other. It's actually called the Matera of Abruzzo. And the houses are built into the rock. And again, it looks like you're in the middle of nowhere. You're not at all. Half an hour, you're sat on the beach. I don't know if you can see the sea in the distance. 10 minutes from here, you're in Guardiagrel. Guardiagrel is a brilliant town. It's just one of those unique, just amazing places. You sit here and you just think, why didn't I do this 40 years ago? Probably because I would have only been 10 then, but there you go. So a couple more pictures. It's just a tiny town. Then you can actually walk from here. The bar's just around the corner from this photograph. But you can actually walk from here up through the town. There's quite a lot of steps. And then when you get to the top of Penepiedimonte, you're in a place called Balzolo. That's this. And it's just, you can literally, again, you can drive. You don't have to walk up in the town. You can drive to the start of this walk, and basically it is, I've done a few videos of this, but this walkway, if you carry on past these people that's here, you go through a tunnel that's in this rock, and then there's a car park and there's a bar. That's why I love it so much. There's a bar and a restaurant, but it's amazing because you can get to these places. This is what I was saying about the Maiella, and Faro San Martino is the same as Lama Lori said, that you can get into the mountains, but it's easy to do. You're not sort of having to hike for hours, but when you send photographs back home, you can tell them that you did a treacherous walk in the wilds of Abruzzo while being chased by bears and wolves and all that kind of. You can make it all up. It's easy to do. But this is close to Palombara is here, where I live. But for me, for this, I just think this town is just something special. It is for me. It has to be one of the jewels. And the start of this walk, this is a typical street scene. I was pleased with myself. I wish it was an old-fashioned, the old bike. I was quite pleased with this photograph that I took, but this is typical of the streets there. And you're not going to find fridge magnet shops and loads of people selling. That's not what it's like. What you find is Italy. these are the kind of the place you get to, and then you just forget about life and just enjoy being in this amazing place. And the start of the walk, as I mentioned before, this is me. This was in wintertime. We just had a fantastic meal. I can't remember where we were, which restaurant we went to, but on the way back, with friends of ours that lived very close, we thought, let's just go to Balzolo, and we bought a bottle of wine, and that bottle of wine was a fantastic bottle of wine. And they also brought us food out, and not just this that's in front of you now. And I think it cost maybe 18 euros, something like that. And just look where we're sat, and this is why I chose this place as well, because it's just, I could just pop up there now. Incredible. There you go, folks. That was a long one, nearly an hour and 20. That's a record. I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight. I hope you're still awake. I can see people typing, so you must be awake. But this gives you a little glimpse into Abruzzo. And I don't want anybody to watch the start of the video thinking that I'm pulling areas down and things like that, because I'm not. The whole place is amazing. When we set this up, obviously we had to choose area. We can't cover the whole place. We just can't do it. We had to choose our areas. So I went for the areas that I felt more comfortable in, that I felt if I'm pushing you, not pushing you, but if I'm offering something to you and you want to buy it, that I would be happy to buy there myself. And that's why we chose the areas we did. Not because one's bad, one's horrible, because that's not what it's like. I just think it's Abruzzo is unlike any other region. And it has its tourism, and it's certainly going to start getting busy now during the summer months, and especially down by the beaches. But it's not being changed by tourism. It's still original Italy. And that's what I love about this place. And there's so many. The photographs I've taken that I've shown you tonight are just probably not even 5% of what's here. And that's where my passion comes from this place, because of what it gives to you, what it offers you. And everybody that you see coming on here, and everybody that you see typing on this on these groups, on these group chats, people that have bought here that are saying they've done this and they've done that, and it's just an unbelievable place. And it doesn't matter to a certain extent where you buy. I prefer the certain areas, as I've said to you, but you can enjoy all of this wherever you are. You can enjoy all of this, whether you live in Palombara, or whether you live in Sulmona, or whether you live in Chieti, or in Carunchio, wherever you are, you can enjoy all of this, because there's going to be amazing things on your doorstep no matter where you are. I just like that mountain beach thing, and I like to be really in the middle of the best of that. If I'm going to be next to the mountains, I want to be next to the highest mountains, the most dramatic scenery. If I'm going to be next to the beach, I'd prefer the more picturesque type coastline. Some people prefer other things, but I will finish by saying this: that there's something here for everybody. There's a house here for everybody, and there's something here for everybody. And you will never get bored of this place. I don't think you are. You will never get bored of this place. It's impossible. Okay. I better finish now, haven't I? That's enough of me working on behalf of the Abruzzo Tourist Board. I should send them a message, shouldn't I? Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. I hope it did give you a good insight. Keep watching the videos. Thank you so much for all your support. I really, really do appreciate it. Look out for this Saturday, this Saturday's property video. It's a bargain. It's 50k all in, including all fees, all taxes. It's in another really picturesque town called Colle di Mezzo. Look out for it. Absolutely brilliant place. I've got some really nice properties. And I've got a beautiful palazzo coming up soon as well in Rocca Morice, what we've been talking about. That's an incredible place. And next week I'm going to film an incredible villa overlooking a lake. Lots coming on the channel. Take a look at the Patreon page, so you can get early access to all of these, and also some of the exclusive videos that our agents do. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Thank you for listening to me for an hour and 20. I will write it down that tonight has been the most professional live stream that I've done on my own without the other two Muppets. I mean, people that I know. Thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate all your support. We'll see you again. It's not going to be next week, remember. It is going to be the week after, because next week is Silvana's birthday, so we're going to have a couple of days. But I'll be back the following week, and hopefully Laurie's going to come on. I did say it was going to be next week to Laurie, so if you're still watching Laurie, it's going to be 2 weeks. We're going to have Capistrano and Mark coming on. We're going to have a competition of the outside space, because Mark's going to be in his garden, and Laurie hopefully is going to be on a roof terrace, and I'm going to get somebody else. We'll catch up with these people that have already bought. Let's see what they're doing in their lives and hear their stories as well. Thank you so much. We'll see you again in 2 weeks' time. Have a fantastic week.